Hello, hello, hello from the UK on the hottest day ever. I'm recording the voiceover for this video. As you can see, I was just gesturing to a floor in the 30 by 30 centimetre canvas. This is an experimental piece. I'm working with a canvas that I usually wouldn't. I'd usually put it aside to do some not acrylic pour art, but something abstract. But no, I'm going to do a either an open cup or a ring pour. I can't remember what I actually did on this one. We're going to learn together. So I'm just layering up my cup at the moment. As you can see on screen, starting out with the copper bronze, and then going in with some other colours. So, yep, just layering my cup. I can't get the right camera angle when I try to do videos of layering cups here. I've put that silver going in next. Really sorry, peeps. At some point I'll actually learn to be able to get the cup in frame. Because you can just see my fingers there in the top. Well, that was a blue going in. And silver. I think I was putting a little bit of silver in between every other layer. So that's another shade of blue going in. I'm using leftover paints from a couple of pours that I've done. And then silver again. And then a pale metallic blue. This was a pour that I actually recorded several months ago and didn't get round to doing the audio for it, so this is a little bit of guesswork, my darlings, as to what I'm actually doing. And yep, then silver in again. I'm not using too much paint in the cup, just because I know it's a 30 by 30 centimetre canvas. You don't need a lot of paint when you're doing either ring pour, straight pour, open cup pour, or any other type of pour really on a canvas of this size. So you can see there the cup's nicely layered, and I think I'm just putting in another little bit just to top it off, with silver forming the middle. The problem is when I layer these cups, I can never remember which colour is going to come out first. I can watch many other tutorial videos that will show, and still I'm not going to be able to tell what colour is going to come out first. And on this piece, I wanted to have some black negative space in the corners. Spoiler alert, that didn't last. So I'm kind of drawing out with the stick the rough shape that I'm going for. I've got a little bit of black paint as what we'd call flow extender, which is to make sure that the paint will flow off of the canvas when you're stretching it out. Now, a lot of people will just use a spatula or the stirring stick to spread the paints. Sometimes their fingers. I do this sometimes as well. But I generally would use the blow dryer just because I get a fairly even layer of paint when I do that. So yeah, I'm just blowing the paint more into the corner, and then I'm just working on the ring pour. I was right first time. At least I'm hoping that my memory isn't that bad, that I'm thinking that I said straight pour to start off with. If I didn't, I meant ring pour. And I'm just trying to create a bit more interest by kind of having the shape go to the edge there. And I'm just getting the last of the black paint out of the cup, just to spread round the edges, just so the paint has something to roll over. The reason why you put flow extender in is you have it in there to give the paint the paint that you've poured out a fluid surface to roll over. It's the gesso or gesso on the canvas gives it a texture, so that the paint will stick to it. That's why you gesso the canvas. And here we go, me doing my amazing so I say amazing, it's not really that amazing, half the canvas is out of frame. Less than amazing tilting technique, which works for me because I'm there looking at it, but seriously, I'm so sorry you're only seeing part of this. This piece, by the way, made me work for the end result. On the first bit of the intro bit of the video, you would have seen the gorgeousness that I managed to get out of this. It took some effort, and then some. A piece where you're tilting really should be a fairly quick piece to do. Should take 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. Yeah, this took me about 3/4 of an hour to get. And that's because, well, I just didn't like what I got. This is a nice piece. The orange and bronze in the core, in the centre, that's perfectly nice. The various blue shades around the edge, that's also nice. The shadow puppet you can see on screen there is me using tissue to clean my hands, because you do tend to get fairly messy when you do a tilting piece, which is why I tend to tilt on smaller canvases, although if I had the space and my workspace wasn't carpeted, I would do a lot bigger pieces, because it is actually quite fun to do. But I have carpets, and the whole room would be covered in paint. I am fairly clumsy. I am 100% that messy bitch with paint. I really am. Number of t-shirts that I've ruined by leaning over canvases is probably heading towards, well, it's over about 30 or 40 at this point. Right, so as you can see, I'm not 100% happy with it. I'm putting the black on in the corner. I have just mixed up some more black paint, just so I can see where I'm going to be able to get with this. And one thing, the reason why I'm showing this to you is a lot of people might think it's a failure because it didn't come out exactly how I wanted. One of the great joys of fluid art is it doesn't always go right, and you have to use the skills that you've got to try and make it go right if you can. Half of the joy in painting is in the exploration. It's in the process. The reason why I paint is for my mental health. I have morbid anxiety, is the diagnosis I received not so long ago. And just having paint, doing something like this, having painting that isn't necessarily going to go in the right way, but I accept it, really helps me. So, just do it. Get into the flow. See where you get. Sometimes you'll get something amazing. Sometimes you'll get something awful. Sometimes you will get something that will go on a pile of paintings in the corner of your space, and you'll come back and go, oh, actually, no, I can draw a cat on that, or I can draw a tree, or I can try to draw a swan. Don't look at the earlier days on my Instagram. There is I attempted a swan with some spray paint and masking tape. Looks like a very weird duck. But getting back to this piece, as you can see, I'm looking at it, trying to get it to go better, so I'm adding some more paint. That's the other thing you can do. You can add more paint onto the canvas. It's your canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. So at this point, I decided I didn't like that the orange was so dominant in the middle. So I say at this point, there were several points on our journey with this piece. So I decided to add the blues in layers into the middle and a bit of black, because why not? And then I'm going to see how this is going to turn out with just blowing it out with a straw, because it's a small amount of paint. I didn't hate the overall design, so I didn't want to blow everything off the canvas. So I chose not to use the hairdryer at this point. And we get this lovely surrealist interpretation of a spider trying to dance, that I decided, let's go with the hairdryer now. See if that will make it better. There are several points that in this piece where I've gone, sod it, let's just see what we're going to do with this, see where we're going to get to. So yeah, this piece I'm now going, yeah, okay, maybe put some black in to get some more definition, give some more low lights to the piece. So I'm putting in minimal amounts of black. The reason why I'm trying to put in minimal amounts of black is if you put too much, the whole piece will end up being black. Black is an opaque colour and it eats other colours. Swallows them up. I'm using CF Acrylics Mars Black for this one, not a special one. Although, have you lovely peeps heard of the blackest black that someone created because an artist created the blackest black and then wouldn't sell it to anyone else? It's another acrylic paint that at some point I'm going to get, because they also have the pinkest pink and the whitest white. So I might at some point get those and do an experimental piece. Actually, I wonder the blackest black and the Amsterdam pearl paints, how those would interact. Well, watch this space. In a few months' time, you might see a video like that. So yeah, now I am going in with some extra blue paint because the black's a bit too black. I'm just, at this point in the process, I'm going off instinct. And the instinct, that my artistic instinct of what colours would look good where. what type of story am I trying to tell. Not entirely sure what type of story I was trying to tell at this point. I think what I ended up going with, the type of story, was a more cosmic view of something, with everything disappearing into a black hole, so you have the odd bits of black, so it's kind of a gaseous nebula, like you would see in Star Trek. Gaseous nebula. I speak English good, honest. So I'm trying to make the get it so that the bit at the top left-hand corner, it looks like everything's being kind of sucked in that direction, which I think's quite cool. We'll get to the end of the piece and you're going to see what I got out of this. This is an amazing piece at the end. Looks so freaking good, but is not at all what I started out with. And I think it's good for other artists who sometimes struggle with their work, newer artists, more experienced artists, to actually see that we all struggle. There is not one artist that I know that will tell you that everything they do is 100% perfect first time every time. No one manages to get that. And that's fine. That's part of the artistic experience. And it is glorious and wonderful in its chaos. And I love it. Honestly, I love doing these pieces that go one way. They think they're going to go one way, they go completely different direction, and I still end up with beauty. There's nothing that well, I'm not going to say there's nothing that you can do that's going to be an absolute pile of trash. There are plenty of things that I've done that have ended up being absolute piles of trash. But unless you accidentally completely destroy the canvas, like physically, you can always paint over the thing. I've got several pieces that I've painted over. I'm actually, as I'm recording this, looking at one piece that I've painted over, gone back, tried, changed about 3 or 4 times, and each time it's come out looking good. So as you can see there, trying to get the direction of the flow to go so it looks like it's all falling in that general direction, which is why I've got the black bits on the corner, so it looks like everything's kind of being funneled in a direction. It's one of the tricks that you can use if you want to make something look like it's going in a certain direction. Pay attention to your corners, what kind of shape it gives, what kind of direction, the direction of movement that it hints at. I love these bits. Okay, I'm getting Atomic Spider now. Because I'm adding some more black in, and you will see how this is going to finish up. Because one thing that I love about this piece is I actually didn't see, until I'd gone away for about 5 or 10 minutes, I didn't see what I got in the middle, and I'm loving it because I can see the part of the painting that gave me the name for the piece just coming together. And it looks very weird because it's a completely different perspective than what I was painting. So I can see it because there are bits that you might have noticed that there are a couple of paused bits where I've actually walked away from the piece while I was doing it, either to wash hands or get some extra paint. So at this point I'm using a cocktail stick to do some finer details in the piece. You will not often actually see me using brushes for art. I finger paint a lot. I use the stirring sticks. I use cocktail sticks. I use spatulas. I use knives. Oh, what they call palette knives. And I've got a load of paintbrushes. I just don't tend to use them that often. It's one of my dyspraxic traits. Trying to use a paintbrush is incredibly difficult for me. But using a cocktail stick isn't, because it's got the hard edge at the end all the way. So just doing the final bits of detailing in there, highlighting the black bits that I want and getting some extra lines in, which is amazing. Pardon me if you just heard the burp. And the digging that you can hear in the corner is, of course, the long-running docent of the channel, my Dachshund Red, also known as Captain Redpants, actual name Red Sheeran, because I had two cats at the same time that we got him, Celine Dion and Katie Tunstall, so he had to work thematically. Yep, that's the type of person I am. I name cats after divas. If you don't like that, fuck off, basically. So yes, the piece is actually properly coming together at this point, and you won't see it now, you'll see it when it's flipped round, exactly where I get the dreamer from. Actually, I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to circle where it is on the canvas. So this bit here in the circle, that looks like a face went round the right way, and you'll see that when we show the final piece in the next part of the video. The video that's coming up in a few seconds, and cue dramatic change. And here we go, the wet result, and can you see the face there? Looks like a guy with a bandana, and the rest of the background is kind of his dream that's happening around him, including a dragon and a weird kind of Nazgul thing kind of just below his face. So thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, follow me on social media at SissyArtist on Instagram and Facebook. Catch you next time. Bye bye.